Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Nadia Rajput from Desi TV USA. Let me take you to the special news. Let's have a look at the headline. Ford government looking at every option as school boards struggle to find teachers. Colombians mourn the killings of hundreds of former rebel fighters and human rights leaders. How the Kremlin weaponized Russian history and has used it to justify the war in Ukraine. China-born Australian democracy blogger decides against appealing suspended Chinese death sentence. Let's look into details. Ford government looking at every option as school boards struggle to find teachers. The province is looking at every option available to help ease a shortage of teachers that has hit school boards across Ontario, says Education Minister Stephen Leach. We'll have an announcement forthcoming, Leach told reporters at Queen's Park on Tuesday as the legislature resumed for the spring session. Colombians mourn the killings of hundreds of former rebel fighters and human rights leaders. Holding white carnations, hundreds of Colombians marched in front of Congress Tuesday to mourn the killings of human rights leaders and the murders of hundreds of former rebel fighters killed after signing a peace deal with the government that ended 5 decades of war. The protest was organized by human rights groups that have become increasingly concerned about attacks against civilians in rural pockets of Colombia where violence persists despite a 2016 peace deal between the government and the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, known by their Spanish acronym FARC, that had raised hopes among Colombians exhausted by years of armed conflict. How the Kremlin weaponized Russian history and has used it to justify the war in Ukraine. Earlier this month, when Tucker Carlson asked Vladimir Putin about his reason for invading Ukraine 2 years ago, Putin gave him a lecture on Russian history. The 71-year-old Russian leader spent more than 20 minutes showering a baffled Carlson with dates and names going back to the 9th century. Putin even gave him a folder containing what he said were copies of historical documents proving his points that Ukrainians and Russians historically have always been one people and that Ukraine's sovereignty is merely an illegitimate holdover from the Soviet era. China-born Australian democracy blogger decides against appealing suspended Chinese death sentence. A China-born Australian democracy blogger will not appeal his suspended death sentence imposed by a Beijing court, with his family saying Wednesday a legal challenge would be detrimental to his welfare. That's all for now. Keep watching Desi TV USA. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And don't forget to watch our channel DTVNN and log on to our OTT platform DTV Flix to explore over 2,000 channels which we provide.
At the Houston Bark Animal Shelter and Adoption Center, we are committed to helping Houstonians be responsible pet owners. Houston pet owners can help care for their pets through Barks, Healthy Pets, Healthy Streets programs, and spay or neuter their pets free of cost. Visit www.houstonbark.com to learn more.